You're feeling
It feels
electro.
like almost like an electrical kind of mist. And it's just sort of moving through the air, kind of spinning. Like it pervades the whole scene, but then I'm kind of a more concentrated version of it. And it's sort of like, yeah, like an electric sort of mist.
So what is the electric mist doing there?
In this place, it's also very reflective, a reflective space. So it's I'm just sort of being, or just seeing and perceiving. The body is non-physical and yet physical in the way that it's light, like collected electricity, and it sort of spindles out, like, and I can sort of see like where my hands would be, these sort of like long kind of electric looking, almost like plasma. And I'm just watching the reflections. It's kind of like a almost like a crystalline, or like this sort of faceted space. So I'm seeing these lights, and they're reflecting in on the different facets, reflecting off of each other.
So watching, reflecting it on a different facet of each other.
Yeah, like it's watching, or I'm watching self, and it's like the reflections of self. And there's different perspectives.
Is there anything in the plasma field that you're seeing that's unusual, that you'd like to explore more? Or something guiding you to explore what you're seeing right now, more specific?
It's something, well, also the feeling of it, it's almost as if the whole space itself is humming.
Humming.
Yeah, so there's like this kind of humming, all these different humming frequencies, and it's like using the sound frequency and the humming to create these electric forms, or to arrange them, like the different frequencies arrange the molecules in different ways.
So the humming frequency to arrange the molecules in different ways.
Yeah. And this place is a learning place, or a place where people experiment or are learning about sound frequencies in order to affect the space around them in ways to create, but also ways to heal, or to repair the fabric, or this like electric fabric.
So the place where people experiment, use frequencies in ways to create and heal and repair their plasma body.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that location? Are you in a location, a crystal temple? Where is that a sacred space that you are right now? That location?
Yeah, there are these temples, and the planet is like liquid, but like a different, almost more gaseous than liquid. And then there are these structures, or like these temples.
So is that a gaseous temple or just gaseous environment with the temples in it?
Environment, and then the temples are more like a crystalline, or like a like a crystalline structure.
Are you in a future gaseous environment, or is this what time frame? What in a space time location are you?
It's time is not the same way that it is here. It's not perceived in the same way, so it's happening simultaneously. I guess you could consider it, from my perspective, the past, because I moved through that place to Earth. But when you view it from that perspective, it's happening simultaneously.
Yes, we live in a simultaneous reality, but from the linear perspective, that is from viewed as the past.
From my perspective,
Yeah, yeah.
or from the perspective of from her perspective.
Okay. Why are you there at this moment? Are there guardians there that work with you, or are you by yourself? Are you with a team?
Yes, it's a version of me, and there are others too, the elders.
What is that place called that you are right now?
It has like a light name. They don't use words. It's more like that mist, or that those swirling. The communication is through, I guess, not all completely visual, but it's through seeing that mist. When you're communicating something, you are affecting the mist, and it creates a communicate, like a color communication. And this place, I see like a diamond, or like a pyramid, a really dense structure. And that's like that sort of that like a diamond lattice structure.
So in this place, you see the pyramids, which happens to be like a diamond lattice structure.
Yeah, that's sort of the way that the place is communicated. The name I'm not clear on yet. I don't know exactly how to say it. It might be something I can try to connect more to, but because it's not, the words are difficult. It's more
Okay.
they're using like a vibratory signature.
So this place, is it a single pyramid or many pyramids in this lattice work of diamond?
The structures aren't pyramid. It's more they're more like temples. This sort of like, they're like the color. hard to explain because they're from different angles, because they're crystalline, that like there are different when depending on where you're standing, inside of them or outside of them, they create, it's like the colors sort of shift, and depending on like what's shining, the way that the light is shining through it. But they're like, the color that I see is this like almost that color before the sun sets, or just after the sun sets. It's that it's like a very dark, like expansive blue. But then there's also like silver colors. It's like silver. Yeah, like blue and silver from the perspective I'm in.
How are you feeling right now in that presence of what you're seeing?
I just feel peaceful and empty.
You're peaceful and empty. Are there anyone there to assist you?
There's one being, I guess, standing to my left. It's like a taller kind of beam, or like they appear as like a beam, or like yeah, I guess it's the best way to describe it.
Is it a plasma beam on your left?
Yeah, plastic. When I look at myself, I'm a little more, almost like when you think of like what a network of nerves or something looks like. They're like these plasma, but this one is more more just like a shaft of light, like a beam. Whereas I feel like I can see more of the individual like flashes of light, or the like electrodes.
Is that the plasma beam? Is that a standing plasma wave beam to your left, standing there?
They're sort of in front of me to my left. Yeah, they would be standing if they had like a body like ours, alert, standing.
Is there a reason they are there now? Is it something they want to communicate with you?
Yes, even though being on Earth has been like particularly painful experience for a lot of people. For Olivia herself, it's been very painful being here, but knowing that there's always a direct connection to this place, of course, makes it easier, but also oftentimes she feels really spacey and just really fuzzy, and has a hard time thinking clearly. And when she can connect to sort of that very direct beam, almost like a fiber optic, like it's just instant beam to this place. It's meant to, even though it's so dense here, and this light is so concentrated and so expansive. Purpose, long-term purpose, was bringing that light, and that technique of using sound to shape the light in order to create healing. And
So Olivia's purpose is to bring light here on earth.
Yes, to channel that light through, but also through using sound, whether through her voice or through instruments. But finding those particular frequencies, the ones that were learned.
Is there any blocks that prevents her from doing that at this moment?
Just through getting caught up in the pain of everyday life.
Okay.
Where it's been hard to be accustomed to life here because it's very counter to any other experience throughout, like in different places. It's particularly
so being caught up in everyday life in 3D blocks her from accessing that light that she's meant to bring here on earth. Is that correct?
yeah, as if it's hard for her to understand the extremes of life on earth. There are so many extremes on earth, and finding it hard to accept certain types of cruelty or pain, and that kind of causes her to not disassociate, but to like disconnect because she's able to very viscerally feel the emotions and the sensations of everyone and everything around her. So there's just a tendency to short circuit or just shut off because it's too overwhelming.
So Olivia is an empath.
Yes.
So by being an empath, when she feels suffering in her area, she tends to shut off. Is that correct?
Yeah, and as a child, initially felt that all of those things and emotions she felt from other people around her were her own. And so something to always work on is to separate the emotions of others from her own emotions and know the difference. and by really embodying and really commanding her own vibratory signature and isolating that from the thoughts of others and separating and being able to discern. Yeah, being able to discern is important.
So learn to separate her emotions from others and understand what is hers and what is not hers, and to discern the difference between others and her own.
Yeah.
So that's something that she can work here on earth, understanding those differences.
Yes.
Is there any other suggestion or guidance you want to share with Olivia to assist her to get in touch with her light?
Just not getting, it's very easy to become caught up, especially because it's very difficult for her to in the profession that she was working in was so draining. She was not able to regroup or regenerate, and so was stuck in a cycle of work and just trying to survive. And so it's important to move forward in a profession that where the lower side of herself is not brought out and feeling like this constant having to worry about survival. And so it's like when the lower parts of her are activated and there's a disconnect, then it makes it hard to remember the purpose of being here.
So what would you recommend, Olivia, in order to move on from the previous work? Is there any suggestions you would like to share with her?
It's easy for her to think that she should move back into the service industry, which was serving other people, and but in a way that's, you know, through the service industry is like very based off of earthly things like food and wine. And though in some way it is still interaction with people every day, and you know, the idea of service to others, but because it's based off of material comforts, it's important to move forward in a way that she's able to use the skills that are unique to her in a way where the higher self and the material self aren't separated, and it doesn't feel like a constant struggle to survive every day. It's more allowing these really light focused beams to not to stay in their higher realms, but to move through and anchor into the earth.
So moving back to the service industry can be something that she may explore.
No, that has been her profession as a waitress for a long time.
Okay, but so moving from the past service industry to something that's more in alignment with her own mission.
With a higher aspect, and being able to anchor in a higher aspect into the earth, and you know, still be serving others, but in a way that's actually aligned with purpose.
Would BQH be one of those possibilities?
Yes. But also exploring the sound and vibrational aspects, and being able to reintegrate the things that the soul has already mastered, and being able to bring that into earth.
So BQH as a possibility in adding and exploring the sound and light modalities that she can add to that. That'd be something. So by adding the sound and light modalities that she'll discover, she'll be more in her element and more in her true alignment with her true mission statement.
Yeah. There's a lot of being distracted, and I think she needs to understand why she experienced the things she did, and why life was so difficult for the first half of her life, and then using those things and taking those things and transmuting them. And that's why the diamond symbol is will continue to reoccur, because of the symbolism of taking things that are difficult, or taking raw experiences and being able to master them and create something like a diamond out of.
Is there any other modalities besides BQH, sound and light, that she might explore?
It would be good to find others who can collaborate in these sound experiments. Like she has this idea of this dome, these like sound domes, and it would be good to find others who are interested in using sound and frequency experiments for healing.
Will she be guided to certain location on Earth to create those type of sound healing temple and certain types of eco villages? Is that a possibility?
Yes, there are some people where she is now, but also connections of other people who are working with sound domes in general, but not in the healing aspect. And that's where channeling and remembering and re-remembering those techniques will be helpful.
So part of her mission is to bring that information from the higher realms and use that understanding to create those sound domes that can be used to help people in their healing process here on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like but using a multimedia, a spectrum of different things, like through using sound, but then the domes themselves have, like when you lie inside them, they have these sort of like you lie on these almost this like magnetic soil, and that's through lying on it, you're absorbing earth energy, but also bringing in cosmic energy, and it creates this almost magnetic, like electromagnetic space.
So basically having those domes where people can lay on the ground, be connected with the earth, and bringing those sound frequencies from the higher realms, earth and the higher realms, assisting humanity heal.
Yeah. Because from her perspective at this point, it's hard to, when she sees the way that people are trapped, a lot of human beings and animals on the planet are trapped within this grid, or this one very specific frequency, and it's used to sort of trap people into certain frequencies, and there has to be a way to release that.
So basically humanity right now are trapped in those reverse frequencies that doesn't help them to link to their higher realms, but locks them into 3D, thus not being of service.
And of course she can relate, because she herself went through periods of time being very trapped in these frequencies, and feeling as if almost as if those frequencies were controlling the
So they're controlling the neurology of the person.
yes. And if you're able to see the electromagnetic field around the person, you can strengthen the shield, and then those imprints are no longer function. The grids, or that field that's used for control. But it's, I think a lot of people know that's already weakening, so they're going to need a guidance or assistance in learning how to reform the electromagnetic body.
So the sound domes, would they be using light also? It's sound and light.
Yes,
Mm.
but I almost feel like this sunlight would be the most appropriate.
Sunlight.
So they'd be yeah, using sunlight, and not there wouldn't be any light you could make that could carry the same spectrum. The sun has all the spectrums that we need, but people are taught to be afraid of the sun, so they're not able to absorb all the spectrums, or they're using chemicals to block certain spectrums that are needed. So a lot of people they're just not receiving sunlight in the most beneficial way.
So the light for healing will be from the sun. It will not be from those stroboscopic LED lights that are coming on the market right now. Is that a possibility, using these stroboscopic LED lights as part of the healing?
I don't know. That's something that could be researched into. As far as from what's coming up right now, the sun seems to be to carry all the spectrums needed. You wouldn't need a man-made light, but that could be something to be researched into, possibly.
So the domes will have to be translucent in order to permit the light to come down?
Yes.
Is that...
Would be there, but it would be important for the domes to be able to block light as well, because sometimes there might be times when you would want there to be no light, to be sort of completely pitch black. So if there was a way to create like a window or something, so that when needed, the sun could come through, and then you'd also be able to have like a very dark space.
So will humanity discover a specific material that'll be able to do that type of function within the dome structure, like a unique material that we haven't discovered yet, but we will in the not too distant future?
Possible. But also even just being, it could be a more simple structure where it's just a window and you're able to allow the sunlight to come through. And then her friend Monica is the sound engineer, and she is someone that she works with installing sound into these dome structures. This is not for healing. This is through a group of people, sound engineers, but being able to create these sort of like surround sounds within the dome. She would have help from her friend to do that, so she could create this surround system in order to have the frequencies kind of enter through the dome, or to come through the dome into the person.
Is this a planetary vision, or is this a certain part of certain continents that needs to take off first, or this will be eventually a planetary vision where these healing sound domes will be actually made manifest throughout the planet?
I think it may be something that other people will inherently discover too, because that it's almost as if the idea itself and the information comes through certain people, and then they're able to ground it through the body. Oh, I apologize. I might have to break for a session. Someone just came into the door.
Okay.
Would it be okay to break, and then I'll be able to come back into the...
Sure, no problem. Just take your time, just relax. I'll wait right here.
All right, 1 second.
No worries.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, just take a deep breath and just relax. The place that you left is the place that you are there already at this moment. The link is always there, nice and strong. The connection is nice and strong. The place that you've been is there already in your visual field. The connection is nice and strong.
So we were saying if there were other people that were going to be, if it's something that others around the world would be picking up on too, and the answer is yes. These are, yes, they will be they should be accessible and very and easy to make. Not, it should not be something that's complicated. The dynamics should be simple. Really, what it is the, by creating some kind of a magnetic or a, you know, a magnetic base to it, in which you're able to collect earth energy, and then collecting sun energy, and then through the sound being able to reprogram and rebuild the electromagnetic body.
So this information is being transmitted to you via the plasma beam?
Yes.
Is there anything else the plasma beam would like to share with Olivia in regards to her blocks? Is this something that Olivia can work on after this session, or you'd like to add something else that may assist her to?
She lost some confidence through traumas that she and tribulations that she went through, and it's just important to know that connection always exists, and that she needs to have confidence in it, and to be more assertive, where she would sometimes be happier to be like a fly on the wall and an observer. But that it's important to be more direct, and that's why making a move and changing career and moving more in that direction is just good, and she just needs to receive to be confident, to be reminded of her guides who are always standing tall and standing next to her, and not wanting to move away, to face things head on, instead of wanting to just be an observer and a fly on the wall, and to be interactive and to be more confident.
So be more assertive and moving to the direction of her mission statement, and facing things head on and not to be afraid, because the vertical.
And people, because it's a harsh reality in some ways that there are really wonderful and kind people that she's met, but also to understand that when someone is not in their looking out for her best interest, it's important to speak up and to be assertive.
So basically, speaking from her heart.
Yes.
And not to be afraid, because there's other like-minded people that she'll be able to co-create with her mission statement. That'll be part of her mission statement as a team of people that will find one another and create that beautiful sound. Are you still there? You've lost contact. Okay. And
Okay.
it's okay. I just recorded again. We stopped a few seconds because we had taken up a little bit of, but now it's much better. Great. So
Okay.
take a deep breath in and out. Just bring yourself to that same space that you were just before the disconnection. Take your time. Feel that space. Feel and see the plasma being that is still there. And the plasma being was relaying the following information to you by being more assertive, moving in the direction of your mission. Face things head on, not to be afraid, and to speak from your heart.
Yes.
Is there anything else that plasma being would like to share with Olivia at this moment in time?
Just sort of surrounding me in this like really beautiful like colored, like electric colored mist. It's just something so beautiful that people here should experience, or at least know that there are things that exist outside of this outside of what we think of as our everyday life, and that's going to change, and it's already changing very quickly, but just have to keep the momentum and keep the connection strong, and just help to rebuild, because it can be done through intention and through sound and electromagnetics.
So this electrical colored mist, it's something that Olivia can be in, which will be comforting for her during times of challenging moments. She can go back in that beautiful state of
it's a place you can almost like, it's non-physical, but it is almost a version of that dome, but it's like a hard to explain. Yeah, just like this really beautiful round place, and you're surrounded by this colored mist, and it just is a place that she can step into when she's doing healing work and sound work, and just to to remember what it feels like and what it looks like, and that it's, because it's simultaneous, it's something that she can have access to now or whenever.
You mentioned that also can benefit humanity if they will use that technique.
Yes, definitely.
So is it something that humanity will need to imagine being, you need to cultivate the imagination in order to see this? Would that be correct?
Yes, but a version of it, maybe the goal would be to create a physical version of it if you're not able to create the actual mist itself, but to create a physical version, which would be a dome-like space where sound can permeate the space, and so the idea behind it can still be conveyed, but it's not in the necessarily in the light body.
So basically, the 3D sound dome mist is a way to assist humanity in 3D to experience facsimile of what is the electrical color mist space in the higher realms, but trying to bring that understanding here in 3D.
Yes.
By using the sound dome mist that you just talked about.
Yes.
Okay.
Once that idea is grounded into the earth, then others will pick up on it.
Okay.
It's something that she can use, that anyone can use, but it's not as if she's the only one receiving that. It's important to for it to be easily accessible and more easily made.
So basically, the 3D sound dome mist will be something to simulate the higher electrical colored mist space that you talked about, to assist humanity to reach that state of understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Would
and
also
to help balance the electrical systems, because a lot of the creatures on Earth right now, their electrical systems are all just gone haywire.
So you said the animal kingdom. Is it the plant kingdom also, or?
Is it what?
You said the animal kingdom, the electrical circuitry is not balanced. Would that relate also to the plant kingdom?
No, I feel like there are still many places on Earth where that balance exists.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, the experiments or the things that humans were doing on each other and on certain animals,
Okay.
it's causing a lot of problems, and we need to sort of disassemble that and then reintegrate and reteach and recreate a healthy electric system in the body.
Can that be achieved by also singing some tones? When you said sound,
Yes, the singing is a big part of it too, and that's why earlier in her life she spent so much time singing in bands and singing and playing music. It's something she's relearning how to use those tones and how to use the voice. Is really important, the actual voice itself, because you don't need you shouldn't need technology. It shouldn't be complicated. It should be something that you have there with you.
So basically, this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You were saying singing and toning organic technologies that are simple for anyone to access.
Yes. And yeah, singing and toning are very important.
The plasma being is it still there?
Yes.
Is there anything else that plasma being would like to share with Olivia or with humanity at this moment in time?
Not at this time.
Okay. Anything else that the plasma being would like to share with Olivia as to needing another session for this moment, or guidance for a follow-up?
No, that seems sufficient for this transmission.
Great. So all the information that you've shared in this session for Olivia is what she needs at this moment in time. Okay. Is it okay if we say thank you to you and to all of the plasma beings at this moment in time?
Yes.
Thank you for your
And
assistance.
all of our blessings to Earth.
On behalf of myself, François and Olivia, I'd like to thank you for assisting us in this BQH session and bringing all the wonderful information to Olivia that will assist her in her understanding and her mission statement here on Earth. So thank you once again for being here and being part of the session.
Thank you.
Now we're going to bring your light body back to your physical body now, Olivia. Just bring your energy back to your physical form. All of your renewed, realigned, and vibrant energies return now into your body. But before you open your eyes, you take note of the expansion of your heart and the increased depth of your wisdom and knowing, and send gratitude to all who's participated in your journey today.
Thank you.
And you're returning to your everyday awareness and consciousness. Feel yourself return now to this room, present day and time, just waking up naturally and completely and fully. And you can begin to stretch and move and open your eyes when you're ready.
All right.
How do you feel?
Good. You just feel calm. Yeah, that was it was a lot easier to kind of jump into that space than it was the first time I had a session. So that's, yeah, it's helpful to see how that works online and how it really is. It's easy. You can get, you don't, as long as you're going through all the steps and able to connect into that space, it really feels like the online thing doesn't really change it at all. So that's really good to know.
That's
At least
awesome.
some perspective, yeah.
So did the information that you received is something that was new to you, or something that's just that brought some clarification?
Definitely clarification. A lot. Some of it was new. At least like the. I mean, the sound healing is always something that I really wanted to move towards, but it was really cool seeing how, like exactly seeing how that would work, like bringing in this more like kind of cosmic types of rays, and then when you combine them with the earth rays through and ground them and connect them in your own body, then that was a cool thing that I want to explore more. That was a really yeah, I liked that idea, and that's something that, yeah, I'll definitely be thinking about a lot more. It was really cool.
Was that actually a new insight that came to you from the plasma being that you never had before?
Yeah. And I mean, it's things that I've like thought about or had wanted to do, but I didn't see like a concrete way and that I would be able to manifest those things, because it seemed like something that was like an idea that was really far out there, but then kind of the vision of how it would work just kind of clicked. So it's something, and I liked the idea that it's something that's really easy and accessible. It's not going to create, or it's not something that's super complicated or that you need like outside technology for. You can use the sun and your voice and the earth, and yeah, it makes it seem more tangible.
So it's going to be something that's very expensive that most of us think, it's more simple, down to earth, organic type of construction with the sun and with the openings from the dome.
Yeah, that it's really you really don't, it does not have to be complicated. And I think sometimes we try to make things complicated, or think, not, we don't try to, but we think that it needs to be that way, that it shouldn't be that simple. But I think those are really the things that that are going to be more useful and more accessible to people who need them. Yeah, I like that idea.
So that's something that the plasma being has shared with you as something that's ongoing, that will be a future healing modality that will be encompassing assisting humanity, right? During this very challenging transition.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that I got of it, that there's like, I got this feeling that there was like this sort of outside interference that was affecting the frequencies that we're able to function at, and that is kind of weakening or being dismantled, and that some people are going to have to work on rebuilding like our electrical systems.
It almost sounds like rebuilding our light body. Would you say that also? It's almost like rebuilding our light body, would you say?
Yeah, because that's kind of when I was seeing what I was seeing of myself, it was like, yeah, it wasn't like I had a body, but I could still see like there were like fingers, or it looked like, you know, when you see like what the nerve system of the nerves looks like inside of the body, it's these kind of like tree, almost like branches, and it looked like these like electrical branches, but they were all connected, like all the connections were strong to my structure, but then there's like a whole blanket of like electric mist and everything was connected within it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That's what I was seeing.
It's almost like you were seeing the ethereal nervous system, the light body.
Yeah, I think that's what you would call it. So I think that's something that like a process that people on Earth are going through right now, and so we have to. I feel like we've all gone through it before. I think we've just been stuck in this little band of frequency that makes us forget everything. And I think that's is sort of breaking down, and so we're just learning to rebuild it. And yeah, I think that's
so basically your mission statement here is to assist humanity to transmute the traumatized aspect of humanity.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, going back to what I said before, that it was necessary for me to know and experience certain types of trauma in order to understand how to heal them. And so that, I think that was something that was blocking me, where I was too upset about the state of the world and I didn't understand why those types of suffering existed. But now I think it's important to know. You have to know from experience and know how to repair those things.
That's great. Well, you know, we have a lot of work to do on this planet, so That's awesome to hear that we have upcoming new modalities that assist humanity using sound and light.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. So,
and I'm really excited to start doing the BQH too, because I think that's something that will help me put my focus into those things, instead of, like I was saying, I spent so much time working in restaurants. I just I got too tied up in that world where I wasn't focusing on the things that I was supposed to. So I think like the BQH is going to be like the perfect bridge where I'm able to like move more into that direction, and I'm really happy about that. So that's good.
Well, thank you for this session. And what I'll do is I'll stop the recording for a second here, just because I've recorded everything, so I'm just going to stop it here. So I'd like to make it official. Thank you, Olivia, for sharing a wonderful session. And I'm just going to stop it right now. Thank you so much.